How do you take each failure and use it as an opportunity to grow? I wanted to talk about failure a little bit. It's something that we all experience right from the earliest age possible. When you go to walk, you're going to fall. When you go to school, who knows? You're going to meet some people. You may meet some kids that you don't get along with. Who knows? But our lives are filled with failure. I'm going to fast forward to adulthood as it relates to business. In fact, as it relates to my own personal experience with failure. Failure starts when you don't set a goal in life. I didn't know that. I have to have it written down. Sounds kind of weird. Yeah, of course it sounds kind of weird. But all the successful people in life have done that. When you start out in business, when I started out when I was 18, the first thing I had to do was make a list. So the first thing I did was prejudged. My list had, about maybe 17 people on it, where the truth was I knew, hundreds of people. So the first failure was prejudging, so I had to learn a lesson from that. My mentor was a very strong mentor, my first mentor. And then he was no longer my mentor. And then finally, my other mentor I had for 28 years. But the first mentor said, "What are you doing? You're playing God." I said, "What? Don't play God and make decisions for people. Let them make their own decision. Put their name down." "Yeah, but I don't think these guys would be interested. You're prejudging. You're playing God. Write their names down." So I did, reluctantly, and I ended up with a list of close to 200 people instead of 17, right? And in my mind, most of that list were not going to be interested, in my mind. So the other failure that I experienced was my negative expectations. And then I had to make my first calls and invite them to a home meeting. No, one after another. "See, I told you so. Here's one of the people I didn't put on my list, and they said no when I called them." And my mentor said to me, "I'd rather try and fail than not try and flounder." I didn't know what any of that stuff meant. I thought it was hokey. So the time for the first home meeting came, and people weren't showing up. We call them no-shows in the profession. So I experienced no-shows. That's a form of, quote-unquote, failure, or at least my perception of it. And then when I finally had that first home meeting, the attendees at the end of that session, I didn't present it. It was the guy that brought me in that presented it. They said no. A lot of them made fun of me. A lot of them laughed at me. A couple of people were actually angry at me. So those were failure experiences. Backtrack a little bit to when I first got started. I didn't have the $100 that it took for the kit. I was in college, broke. I only had money for food. That was it. Then, after I had my first couple of home meetings where every single person said no, I had to learn how to talk and approach others, strangers that I don't know. I was brought up to believe that, hey, don't talk to strangers. So that kept playing in my mind. And then when I stumbled through talking to somebody about take a look at a way to make some money, no. So I'm experiencing all these, what I believe to be failures. And then with one or two that said yes, I would have to call them and schedule a one-on-one presentation at their home. But here's what I had to do. I was in the restaurant business. I had to shower, dress in a suit, find out where they lived, drive to their home, oftentimes with a map. We didn't have Google Maps back then. I would arrive, I would present the opportunity, and most of the people said no. So wait a minute, I just spent time getting all showered up, all suited up, driving, spending money on gas, going through traffic, and now they're going to say no? How many people would feel incentivized to do that again? And I didn't feel incentivized to do that again. And then it came, wow, somebody said, "I'll think about it." Great, now I have to schedule follow-up. Let's see, what do I do if somebody wants 24 to 48 hours later? Oftentimes, I would arrive at that follow-up to pick up my materials I gave them, something of value, right, to pick it up, and they weren't home. The door was locked, the lights were out, they were gone. They didn't keep their appointment. Or they would meet me at the door, materials in hand, and say, "No, thanks, really not interested in this." They feel sorry for you. They don't want to say no. They'll say, "I'll think about it." And then when it came to the decision of signing them up, they say no. Or we had a little phrase that we use, sign or sell. Either have them join you or sell them some products. And most of the time the answer was no. And so I was thinking, how can I succeed? How do you take each failure and use it as an opportunity to grow? All these failures, what do? I didn't know how to speak with people. I didn't know how to handle somebody who says, I'll think about it. I do now. The point is, from what I've been telling you, is that we all experience failures. In fact, a lot of people can relate to what I just said on those steps. But failure, I learned, thank God I read the books they recommended. Thank God I listened to the audios they recommended. Thank God I associated with successful people by attending their meetings that they recommended. Why? Because you will learn things when you read and listen and attend, and you will learn how to handle failure and the right way to look at failure. Because there's a right way and a wrong way to look at failure. And the wrong way will either keep you failing or stop you from attempting. That's even worse. And I went through my years of that. That's for sure. I had my excuses and justifications. Why? Because boo-hoo, woe is me, I failed a lot. And I used to think it was because of me. It was something about me that were causing people to reject. No, it has nothing to do with it. It has maybe a little bit to do with it because your attitude of expectation is everything. Mine started way back, I don't know if you noticed this, when I first made my list and I prejudged. Oh, they want to be interested in this. You know what? When you have what you believe to be one of the best opportunities in the world, everybody would be interested in that. Because everybody's interested in what they want to accomplish that their current situation is not allowing them to do. And so learning how to approach failure and accept it as a learning lesson is what helped me break through the habit that I created, which was inactivity. My own lack of taking action, because every time I take action, now I got to shower and dress in a suit and drive to their home with directions in hand and arrive and do a whole presentation for 45 minutes to an hour, and they still reject the opportunity. What a waste of my life. That's how I felt until I learned the real meaning of failure. Prejudging, by the way, is ready for this, folks? This is heavy. When you prejudge somebody about taking a look at what you have to offer, that prejudgment is a manifestation of your level of belief. When you believe that you have an opportunity that every human being on planet Earth can match to what they desire to achieve in life, that their current situation is not helping them do, that makes the world your oyster. When you believe that you have value to give someone, if you can identify what they want out of life that their current situation is not giving them, then that's it. That's the key right there. And I used to say when I was new, when I prejudged and somebody said no, I would say, see, I told you. What did that do? It reinforced my disbelief in the first place. So telling somebody not to prejudge, explain why and where it comes from, and then get to their reason and remind them why they're looking at something to build on the side. How do you take each failure and use it as an opportunity to grow?
Kevin Sousa.
Paul Hutchings.
Hey, good morning, and excellent job today. I loved hearing your story. I love how you took each quote-unquote failure and used it as an opportunity to grow with persistence and turn into the man you are today, because as I was listening to you speak, I really was just so impressed at what a great communicator you are, what a great leader you are, and just really, really thankful that here you are here today to serve me and everyone here, in large part because you grew through those challenges rather than allowing those challenges to cause you to quit. So thank you for that. Back to you, Kevin.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. Thank you for your kind words and your wisdom. And I hope you take today and make it the best day ever, and don't let anybody steal your dreams. Bye for now.